Welcome to Is Your Way in Your Way podcast, where your host, Cassandra Crawley Mayo, helps you break free from obstacles and live life on your terms. Get ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and inspiration. Tune in as we dive into captivating conversations with experts and explore topics that will ignite your passion and drive. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Let's dive in.
Good day out there to all my listeners, and I'd like to welcome you to Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. And I'm your host, Cassandra Crawley Mayo. And for those new listeners out there, let me just share with you what this podcast is all about. It's for those individuals who are in their way, actually, individuals who are stuck. You know what it's going to take you to start living your best life on your terms, but you're just stuck. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. And I always use my example. My book is titled "Is Your Way in Your Way," the same as the podcast. And my way was in my way for a long time, and that's what took me so long to write my book. So then I decided to get out of my way, and as a result of that, I was able to do one of my goals and aspirations, and that's what we want you to do on this podcast. And I am hopeful and prayerful that there will be something said that will resonate with you to say, you know what? There it is. That's just what I needed. And I'm going to get started, because all it takes is taking action. You can make that decision, but if you don't move forward, nothing's going to happen. We talk about topics related to personal development, business development, and it will enable you to do some self-reflection. And today I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about, because it's not talked about a lot, and it's the art of healing inner child wounds, the tools of emotional freedom. And there is a chapter in my book that talks about your childhood has a lot to do with your adulthood. And I'm going to introduce you to our special guest. Oops, we caught her drinking. Alicia. Right. Alicia, and I meant to ask her, how do you pronounce that last name? Is it Farricielli?
Farricielli, yes, you were so close. You get closer than most people, so.
Oh, good.
Congratulations.
Good. Yeah, great. Well, I'd like to welcome you to Is Your Way in Your Way, and I am certainly glad that you are here, because I still say that childhood has so much to do with our adulthood. Though before we get started, I want to read a little bit of your background so individuals will get a clearer understanding of why you are qualified to talk about this topic, and not only qualified, but why do you do what you do based on this topic. Alicia is a certified life and health coach with over 20 years of expertise in marketing, public relations, and entrepreneurship. She's also the host of the Intuitive Revolution podcast. She empowers individuals to harness their intuition, overcome those limiting beliefs, and achieve holistic well-being. Drawing from her own journey of resilience and self-discovery, she helps clients break free from insecurity, anxiety, and burnout, guiding them toward authenticity, balance, and personal empowerment. With empathy and insight, she inspires transformative growth, fostering confidence and harmony in those she supports. Wow, I can't wait. I'm so excited about this topic. Well, now, what I'd like to know, and I know my audience would like to know, tell us about your backstory. What was going on back then in that childhood day, those childhood days?
Yeah, I never thought I would be doing this. I didn't just wake up one day, when I was a kid and be like, oh, I'm going to teach people all the traumas I had.
Exactly. Right. Tell us everything. Yeah.
So I take people back. My childhood, I was born from an extremely conservative, super religious, hellfire damnation type of background. So that's what was thrown at me, very, very, very fear-based. And so as you can imagine, a child being born into a fear of, from the day you're into the world, and probably through your mother's womb, is like, oh, you have to fear for this like damnation of hell. If you make one little mistake, you're like going to be condemned for the rest of your life or after eternity. So imagine that being, and I'm not trying to, to say bad about religions, but that's kind of what I was born into. It was very fearful. very, didn't feel any self-worth within myself, felt neglected in certain portions of my childhood. And I'm not blaming my parents for that, because parents can't necessarily do the best. I mean, they do the best they can. They did the best they could with what their belief system were and the fear that was already instilled inside of them.
Right.
So imagine having fear-based parents with being a very fear-based, timid child. I was so shy. I use the example a lot. When I was in second grade, I got my name on the board, which was no big deal because all the other kids had got their name on the board. I don't know, probably talking or something. And I did something very, very little. I cried the entire day because I was so scared. I messed up. And so I cried the entire day, come home in tears. It was just like so detrimental. And I just had that wound inside of me that I'd forgotten about until I got into my adult years and started to dig a little deeper and get some of these wounds out. And I felt like that was keeping me held back from a lot of criticisms in my life, because I always felt like I was going to be, if I was criticized, it means I was doing something wrong. But therefore, I should fear being wrong. Not that I have the same belief system at all compared to what I was brought into, but it's still that fear that's, subconsciously was inside of me. There's still some fear inside of me, but I'm bring it to awareness now, and it's a little bit different.
Right.
Around it. But yeah, so I, went into that, got into my teenage years, was a little rebellious, very rebellious. And so ended up pretty pregnant, getting married very young, divorced. By the age I was 30, had 2 small children. I was trying to raise on my own, having the whole mother, the single mother trauma that comes, and that's a huge trauma too. So don't ever, if you're still a mom out there, I feel for you. My heart's with you. Going through all of that, but a lot of the wounds that I had from my inner child starting to play into some of my, relationships and work relationships, launch businesses. They were successful. I burned myself out with them, start something new, on and on and on and on and on, over and over and over again, hitting, like you said, that broke wall. And so I got to a point to my life, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this. I was super depressed. I mean, I was at the end of my ropes. So I started down the path of trying to heal myself. I was like, there's something wrong. I thought there was something wrong with me. But there's nothing wrong with me. It was something wrong with my path, and things that were inside of me were not alignment with who I was.
Okay.
So that. And as I was getting into it, got really far. I was like, there's still something missing there. And it's funny how the universe works. Is like, here's inner child work, here's shadow work. So like, I put the two of those together, and I started like inner child. That's what it was. My little Alicia was not listening to her. I was not taking care of her. I was ignoring her, and she was still acting out.
Now her is little Alicia.
I call her little Alicia. The people I work with through workshops and through coaching and stuff, I have them name their inner child. Like it could be whatever. I've had my friend of mine named hers a little firecracker because it showed up. I love that name. So I was like, I have to name that because it's like a little person. You want to treat it like it's on the side of your hip all the time, like a kid, and take care of it and nurture it. And it's always inside of you. So name this thing, learn and bond with this little girl or boy or whatever it is inside of you.
So mature Alicia, not little Alicia.
Yeah.
What happened? What was that breaking point that enabled you to confront, to start transforming your life? What happened? Something had to happen.
Ready to design your dream life? Join Cassandra Crawley Mayo's Create and Design Your Best Life workshop. Break free from self-doubt and obstacles and step into a life of purpose and fulfillment. Click the link in the description to register now. Don't wait. Spaces are limited. Start living your best life today.
I owned an event company at the time, corporate event company, and I was working 80 hours a week, and I was making very little money, profitability on it, because I was so far behind. I'd have to wait for my clients to pay me. I'm talking, I was forking out tens of thousands of dollars a month and then hoping to get paid back on time. And it would take sometimes 2-3 months. So I was like scrambling.
So this was your own company, or
my
you
own
were
company?
Oh,
it was my own company.
Okay.
I had employees. I had contractors underneath me or behind. I say underneath. They were working alongside, but with that I had hired on. And it was wearing me out. I was so worn out.
Oh my
So
God.
I had this, and it was it's successful. It could be profitable. And my daughter was going through something. She was, I think, 14, 15, 16 years old at the time. And we're having just a teenage clashing of issues. She was having her own, drama, all that stuff going on. My boyfriend's my husband at the time, and I were not seeing eye to eye on things. So I felt really stuck in life. I was like, I'm miserable. So one day I was like, getting down, I was at the very end to where I was starting to plan the end of my life.
Okay.
It was that deep. And so I sat down, I was like, God, I'm done. I was like, you either tell me how to do this, or you show me, show me changes I need to make in my life. And
so you were at your wits' end.
I was at the wits' end, had like planning stages of how I was going to end it. I was like, I was done. I can't go on. I was 35, 36 years old at the time. It's like, I can't go on and do this anymore. I was like, I can't do it. I could physically, mentally, spiritually, everything drained and exhausted.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did somebody help you with that, or you did this on your own? Like, okay,
I did a majority of this on my own. I was in and out of therapy, back and forth. I had a couple of good therapists. The rest of them it made me end up leaving like there was something wrong with me at the time. And so I ended up connecting with a really good therapist, and I work with her now. Still once a month, just because I keep up stuff. I go in there and be like, I don't have much to talk, and we'll just keep talking. And it's like, it's a maintenance type of therapy. And I'm very big on that. So I was doing that. And I ended up, so I started doing the self-development path, and I started journaling. I started reading. I started doing things that I kind of innately knew. I mean, I had a little bit of background in psychology. So I started kind of pulling some things from that. And I really started leaning on a spiritual basis of it. Okay. And so as I was going that, I ended up hiring a life coach for myself. In 90 days, she started to introduce me to energy work, to breathwork, meditation. And so I was able to release the energetic blocks that were inside of me that were not going away on their own through talk therapy or through talk communicate.
Did you say Reiki, or what did you say?
She does, it's energy work, but I am a Reiki master, but I do intuitive. And so she taught me a lot of like intuitive wise. I'm in multiple different things, right? Whatever I do, but so, I mean, that literally started to release some of these traumas and these emotions that were locked inside of myself. And so I was able to clear those out. Yes. I was able to come in and to actually get out of my nervous system, started to regulate. So I was not, the tiger wasn't still chasing me. So I was able to regulate that to actually start to open up and receive in the true healing that I needed.
Okay, good.
And so once I started to do that, and then I worked with her for a while, still work with her on and off. And then I came across the inner child stuff. So inner child wise, when I started doing that, I did that on my own. Okay. But I did on my own. I say on my own. I didn't have a lot of outside resources and help. I did that intuitively. So I have a very intuitive meditation. I go in and talk to my guides and spirits and source, and they get all the information given to me, and was able to, through some books and some courses too, but really able to start to learn the techniques that I teach people now how to do.
Right. So it sounds like it's taken you a while to get through this, and you're still probably a work in progress, right?
Oh, it's going to be a work till the day that I pass away from this life. It's a work. If anybody tells you that they're healed, I'm going to call no, you're not healed. There's no healing, and you're not completely healed, because there's things that come in that trigger us. Right. Now, you can get to a very content place, a very happy, joyful place. And you're still going to have up and down days and rocky moments, but you can still be in a happy, joyful place with those rocky moments.
Exactly.
And that's where we want to get to. That's the healedness that we're looking to strive to. Right. The people that tell you, oh, you're never going to have any more issues, you're completely healed. It's not true, because you're going to walk out the door and somebody's going to slam on the brakes in front of you, and you're going to have a trauma experience of almost hitting someone. I mean, that's a little wound inside of you, and there you have to heal that too. Right. I mean, you have to sit in a bubble. They're going to get bored, and that's going to be so it's like everything that kind of goes in to our lives contributes to this. but we have to
So,
learn how to deal with it.
right. So, mature Alicia, do you
Yeah.
ever talk to little Alicia?
Every day.
Uh-huh. What are some of the things that you do to to help overcome what your childhood wounds are? What do you do?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'm actually in the process of having to relive a lot of this. I'm writing my book now. And
Mm-hmm.
so as I'm writing the book, I'm having to go back and relive a lot of memories that I
Mhm.
healed mostly from, but now I'm having
Right.
to open those wounds back up again because I have to remember it in the same mannerisms that little Alicia experienced it.
Yes.
And
Okay.
so, and it's
Okay.
also a big healing process for me too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I go and I talk to her every day and I just listen to her. I mean, and it
Mm-hmm.
could be the fact that somebody said something that really rubbed me wrong, that made me
Mm-hmm.
feel really bad about myself or made me
Mm-hmm.
angry, and they didn't mean it that way. I have to go
Sure.
back and talk to him like, how's this a little Alicia affect? Like, is this her speaking out? Most of the time it
Right.
is. And so I have to
Right.
have a conversation with her, like, and listen to her and acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
her and let her know everything that you're saying is valued. It's valuable.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm. Now,
everything is great that you
yeah.
got to say.
How has this impacted your children? You have two.
I
Are
do.
they girls?
I have a boy and a girl, and they are in
Uh-huh.
their 20s.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, so they're grown, and unfortunately for them and for myself, I didn't have this healing when I was going through.
Okay.
I was a young mom in my 20s, young 20s, raising these kids, still on survival mode, still dealing with these inner child wounds. Didn't know what to do. I mean, I was a single mom for many years and
Sure.
I was just surviving. And so
Right.
unfortunately I haven't, but I'm in really good relationships, particularly with my daughter. And so she's been able to kind of, I think, hopefully she's proud of me to see
Mhm.
how the healing process has begun. And I've been able to come back and apologize for a lot of ways that I reacted to things and did the best. But
Mhm.
also, I hope they understand that I did the best I could with what I had.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
so that's
Absolutely.
kind of what I've put the grace within myself is knowing I did everything. What I did was out of love for them.
That's right. That's right.
Everything I did was completely out of love. It may not have been the right reaction or what they needed.
Right.
I know I didn't give them what they needed, but that's okay
Hmm.
because now
Hmm.
they can give themselves what they need.
Exactly. Now, based on the work that you do you suggest to them, because they're young adults, that perhaps maybe they should be getting some help?
Oh
And
yeah.
if so, how is it received?
Oh, my son's a little bit different. We have a different relationship. We're not really that as close. We've had some
Mhm.
things that have happened that have kind of forced us out to, I don't, really want to go back into deep deal with that on the podcast, but some things that we're not as close as we should
Okay.
be. My daughter and I are extremely close and we'll have multiple conversations back and forth,
Okay.
about stuff. And she does a lot of self-development and growth work on herself. I'm super, super proud of her and
Okay.
I think my son is doing a lot of growth as well too, from
Yeah.
he tells me what
Sure.
I see with it, but she's a little more intimate, as mother-daughter relationships are
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, most of them are, but you're
Yeah.
right. Some of them not, but some of them, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Now, with your clients, what are some of the challenges or limiting beliefs do you encounter with them?
Yeah. So a lot of it, most of the clients that come in, they have a very victim mentality.
Mm.
And I can completely relate to that.
Hmm.
Completely, totally relate to that. So we have to take the victim and they think it's someone else's fault that the reason they're the way they are, or there's
Mm.
something wrong with them.
Hmm.
And so we have to go back and have to get that over the limit. There's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect the way that you are. You are beautiful the
Yes.
way that you are. There are things
Right.
in your life that you're not reacting to that in a certain mannerisms that's bringing you to the progress that you want to go. And so we
Hmm.
have to go through all of that. And then
Hmm.
take the victimization out of from whatever thing that happened to them, that they're not a victim. We have to untie their selves to it. So those are
Okay.
probably the two of the biggest things. A lot of times clients come to me, they're like, I had a great childhood. That's
Mm.
fantastic. I'm very happy that they did.
Uh-huh.
However, everything that they're talking about is tied into the inner child. Everything
Right.
we're discussing, and we get dig down to like, whoa, wow. And again, we have to go back and
Right.
we're not a victim of it. We're forgiving. We're not, everybody
Mhm.
do the best they can. And that was
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement. So now you know what to do to
Right.
move forward. And it's such an amazing, beautiful thing to see.
Wow. Well, listen, since they're saying that childhood was great,
Yeah.
why are they coming to you for those who say that? What's their reasoning for coming to you,
Well,
hiring you?
when you look at it, a great childhood, typically people think I had two parents. They were either married or they got along great. They never had to worry about money. They never really poverty. I mean, they take the extremities, my parents loved me. My parents did this for me. They took care of me. Well, sometimes parents can love a little too much in different ways. Maybe they loved you, but they didn't love you in a way that when you were a child, that you really felt deeply and genuinely loved.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean they didn't love you.
Right.
Maybe you came home, they had high expectations for you.
Right.
And maybe
Okay.
you have high expectations of yourself going into your work. I see that a lot with clients is it's I'm never enough, not good enough. More and more and more and more, do more, 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 more. Instead
Right.
of slowing down and enjoying life, they're on the train to having to prove themselves. They're still proving stuff to their parents.
Sure.
So that's what they mean by I've had a great childhood.
Okay. Okay. What are some of the things that you have done with your clients or yourself that helped you overcome the limiting beliefs that you've had? Or let me say it like this. What are some of the limiting beliefs you've had in your clients? Just name a few of them.
Again, I'm not good enough. I have to work hard.
Okay.
I have to please everyone, it's horrible if someone gets mad at me. That was a big one with me too.
Okay.
Yeah, those are probably some of the top ones.
Okay.
It's people pleasing is a huge one. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you help and how did you overcome those or work towards overcoming them?
Yeah, it's the little baby steps. So we come into a solution. We want a solution, immediate gratification. We want it to go from 1 to 100, and we can't do that. The whole beauty of it is going through the process of the healing and then celebrating it.
Okay.
So it's awareness. So it's becoming aware of your actions, becoming aware of the things that you're doing. And so once you start to become aware of them, you're able to start correcting them. And then you're going to mess up. I mean, I mess up. My clients mess up all the time. We mess up. We're not perfect. And it's, again, the beautiful part of it. But give yourself grace for it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'm very proud of myself for acknowledging that I didn't do it this time. So next time I'll be a little bit more aware and a little more aware. And it's more of the awareness. Of course, we have to take some actionable steps behind that. But it's getting to that point of awareness to where we start to change. For people pleasing, maybe it's you're going to do something that steps out of your comfort zone just a little bit. You're going to open up and be a little vulnerable to someone. They may not receive it in. So it's just a little bit, the little steps. We don't want to go from I'm just completely open and free, because that's not being true to who you are at this current state of mind. You have to do the little baby steps and towards it. Just the little things, the everyday things add up.
Yeah. So for example, like myself, my thing is perfection. Everything has to be just right. And I understand where that came from as growing up, as my inner child, and never was able to satisfy my mom. It was always, why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing your hair like that? Da, 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 da. Wanting to be accepted by her. Now, being aware of that, how would you, if I were your client, help me through that process? Like I can't do it because it has to be right. And many times it will take me so long to do things because I can't get it right. And so sometimes I don't get it at all. So I would take me through that process as a client.
That's a big one. A lot of women, particularly women, struggle with that. I would tell you to let's go back and talk the story of your mom and look at your mom from who she was as a human being. Because we want to look at her parents as superheroes, but as a human being. All the things that she said to you were nothing but her own fears being projected onto you. So if you can start to see that, why are you wearing that? She's afraid that you might go out and someone's not going to like it and you're going to get made fun of. I'm just saying, maybe that was her thought process of it. But now we have to go down into your side and be like, little Cassandra, was that true? No, that was your mom's fears projecting onto you.
Right.
So now Does that mean I have to be perfect? No. Think about all the times that I was imperfect and it turned out to be a beautiful thing. So we're just having conversations with our inner child. And it's really starting that first. And then it's saying, what would happen? What was the best thing that happened if I start the first step? What's maybe the worst thing that could happen if I start the first step? Maybe somebody's not going to like it.
Right.
Well, am I really going to doing this? Am I really doing this for them or for me? I really want to do this for me. So if that's what's holding you back is this other person, then what if I did this for myself? What's the feeling I'm going to have? And I'm really big into feeling into feelings. Because I think you can go in and you can talk all day long and do all the whatever, but if you're not feeling into it, that's why people say manifestation doesn't work. You're not feeling into it. You're trying to say, I'm going to use an example. I want $10 million, but you're not feeling that you're worthy of it. So you have to feel the worthiness behind it too.
Okay.
So what is holding me back? Is it because I think I'm not good enough to make that next step? Ooh, that's a big one. So that just step back a little bit. Let's work on the self-worth portion of it. So there's not like a whole right or wrong, like system to guide to tell you how that's a lot of work behind it. But really going back into it, it really comes back down to a self-worth issue that we tend to struggle with, especially as women. That the self-worth that we're not good enough, so we have to make it perfect. If it's not perfect, then we're not good enough.
Right.
And so kind of struggling with that thing and where it comes from.
So why do you think inner child work is necessary for everyone?
Because everyone has inner child wounds. And so I think if everybody, a single person on this entire planet, or let's just take the United States right now for everything we're living under.
Yeah.
If every single person decided to work on part of their wounds, they would start to open up and see people differently. You're going to start to open up and you're going to see yourself differently. You're going to value yourself differently. You're not going to put up with some of the things that are being brought to you, and you're going to have a different value for yourself. And you're going to treat other people differently too, because you're going to see the value in them. So imagine if every single person did that, just the domino effect, the light effect that would have for the world. That's why every single person needs to do that, because there's something in every single person's life that is hindering them from showing a little bit extra love. And so if we show a little bit extra love to the world, that's when the world starts to change. I want to be a world change maker. That should
be on a mission.
That's my mission, is to do it one person, individual by individual. And that's how it starts to happen. So everyone can every single person can have a small impact on one person. And that one person tells the next person and teaches the next person and the next person. Then you got like 20 people that are affected by this.
Right.
Then you're going to have that one person that's going to be like Tony Robbins or Oprah that's standing out there teaching the world about it.
Right. The domino.
Domino opening up. So that's why inner child work to me is beyond the world. Selfishly, if somebody wants to look at why they should do it, is who doesn't want to live a life of just pure joy and happiness, no matter whatever situation happens?
Yes.
Who doesn't want to feel worthy?
Right.
That's enough reason in the world to do the work behind it.
Okay, great. Let me talk a bit about, because you talked about religion and growing up, and you shouldn't do this. Of course, when you probably got pregnant, your parents were like, "Oh my gosh, you're a bad girl. Why did you do that? Oh my goodness." But with that, you have implemented some spiritual practices to heal your inner child. Okay, not religious, like you said, spiritual practices. What are some of those spiritual practices that you've acquired?
Yeah, so I have a deep connection to I call the divine. I don't put names on it because I have spiritual trauma behind a lot of what I've went through. Okay. And so I have a huge connection to divine. I do believe there is people call it universe, sort, whatever. I'm a true believer there's something bigger, better than much bigger, better than us out there, where we came from. Right. And so as I connect to that, I get divinely guided into touch into my intuitive. And everyone can do this. People think, no, you can get intuitive messages. They're always sent to you. We just don't sit and listen. And so
Uh-huh.
spending through meditation and listening to the messages, listening to what's coming up for me or for other people, that to me is the spiritual practices that implement. And it's, to me,
Okay.
spiritual practices is showing love and kindness to people. And if I'm
Okay.
showing love and kindness to people, to me, that is true spirituality.
Right. And you're also showing that to yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
It starts with
Mhm.
yourself. If you can't love yourself, you're going to
Right.
have a really hard time loving other people to the degree
Right.
that they want
Right.
that the love that needs to be given out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about to love your neighbor as yourself. And when I used to read that, I would always say, but if you don't love yourself, it's going to be so difficult to love your neighbor. You know,
Yeah. I think that's what it's talking about.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, well, you have a toolkit.
Do I have a
Is that
toolkit?
right? You do have a toolkit. You have a toolkit. It's like your workshops for inner child
Yeah.
work. So share some actionable steps that my listeners could do.
Yes. So the first thing I love to teach people how to do is to actually connect with your inner child. And it's
Okay.
as simply as putting your hand on your heart, closing your eyes, taking
Yes.
a deep breath in, and
Okay.
imagining yourself when you were that little child.
Okay.
And if you can't do that, I suggest people getting a picture of themselves or something that they can imagine that looks
Mm-hmm.
just like them, that reminds them of their childhood. But we
Okay.
want to do this on a safe place. So we want to imagine the safest place, start the safest place they've ever been,
Uh-huh.
guide them through that. And then to open the door up and there's your little inner child. So as you're talking, you're going to speak to your inner child and you're going to ask your inner child, how are you? I'm so happy to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And just listen to it. If it says, I don't
Okay.
have anything to say, just ask him,
Uh-huh.
okay, well, tell me something that's been upsetting and bothering you lately. And just have a conversation back and forth. You may feel kind of crazy at first. You can do this in
Mm-hmm.
closed doors, but just have a conversation back and forth with this little child. And then you're going to listen. The most
Mm-hmm.
important thing is to listen without
Mm-hmm.
judgment,
Okay.
because it can feel the judgment still coming off of you. We're treating it like as a third person here. Listen
Right.
to it and let it know that anything it has to say is valid,
Mm-hmm.
respected.
Okay.
So you're providing safety, you're providing listening, and you're providing some love to it. So after that, we're going to go back through and we're going to give the child some love. And we're going to assure it and be like, you know what, whatever you went through, whatever you're feeling is valid and it should not have happened. And I'm very sorry that you had to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
love you. And I want you to sit every single day. I always tell people, sit and tell your inner child, I love you. I say, I love you, little Alicia. And I just
Mm-hmm.
feel into that love as I wanted as a child, how good it would make me feel as a child to have that love, just to feel loved and special. And just let that
Mm-hmm.
child know it's love and special. And then when you
Mm-hmm.
do that, you're going to allow it to come out and play.
Mm.
So you're going to
Okay.
tie this up. And this cannot have to be the same, like a one session thing. It is for me now.
Sure.
But
Yes.
as you're feeling it's multiple different, you may just spend some time listening for a while, then spend some time acknowledging it. But then you want that
Okay.
inner child to play.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want it to bring it out. I mean, if I take people, if you wanted to be a ballerina when you're a kid, go to the ballet. If you're physically able
Uh-huh.
to take ballet lessons, if you love superheroes, dress up like one. Or if you don't want to do that,
Okay.
wear that red shirt like Superwoman and walk
Yeah.
around like you are just hot. You're Superwoman and go help somebody and
Mm.
emanate the things. Color,
Okay.
jump rope, whatever you love to do. If you love to play basketball. Get it to the childlike spirit. And so
Okay.
children want to feel, when you look at a child, it wants to play, wants to
Yeah.
feel safe. Of course, it
Yeah.
wants its basic necessities met, like a roof over its head and food and shelter, you got to take care of that way. And it wants to feel love. So if you can
Okay.
give that child, and that's reparenting your child. Now,
Mm.
forewarning, your child may want to play all the time after this, and you have to be parented back in, because there are times that you can't be playing 24/7, unfortunately, in the world that
Yeah.
we live in.
Yeah.
So it's
Too
like when
bad.
you have to be serious, you have to like, okay, the little inner child, okay, I'm going to make this deal with you. I'm going to work for today. And then tomorrow I'll take 2 hours off and we'll go for a walk in the park or something. So you're
Mm.
still playing and you're kind of compromising with it, but you're not ignoring it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Alicia, so that can be used for um, not only a happy place in your childhood, but not so happy place. Something could have happened to you, violated
Yes.
or something, and you can talk through that situation with that child like it's not your fault,
Yes.
that this happened to you. And so because it's not your fault, I want you, and you're okay now, so
Yeah.
even those bad things, what we find as bad, you could do that same scenario, but twist it, switch it a little bit, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You
Yeah.
always want to come from a safe place. And I do want to preference this, that if you have any type of abuse, such as sexual or physical or any extremely emotional abuse,
Mhm.
go find like help with a licensed trauma therapist. So
Okay.
I always tell people to go that route because you want to take care of those things with someone who is
Okay.
trained and licensed to walk you through a extreme traumatic thing. We're talking
Okay.
about little wounds that happened in our
Sure.
childhood. Maybe we brought home a grade that the teachers didn't, that we thought we deserved better, or maybe a kid hit us or something. I mean,
Right.
wounds that happened that are still kind of traumatic for us, but they're
Sure.
not major things that have make a major trajectory of our life. But
Okay.
yes, you can use these tools definitely to do that. You could,
Okay.
because we want to listen to our inner child and we want to make it feel safe. And so that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing. Is so you want to make sure when you're coming. That's why you always have people start off with feeling the safe space. You want to do this in
Right.
a safe space. You don't do this out in the open. I mean, where you're feeling people judgments or anything. You want to do this in a very safe space for yourself,
Okay.
because
All
your inner
right.
child can come out and it can be more vulnerable with you. It can be more open with you. And it's
Right.
going to trust you. So we want to
Okay.
build that trust back up, because we've been ignoring our inner child for so long. It doesn't trust us.
Okay. Okay. Right. Because we definitely want to have what we
Yeah.
tools of emotional freedom.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say could be a strong possibility of my listeners who are stuck. There's certain things that they want to do. They maybe want to get out of a toxic relationship, write a
Mhm.
book, change jobs, be an entrepreneur. It may be an idea for them to go into their inner child wounds, because
Yeah.
some of those things could be the catalyst for them being
Absolutely.
stuck. Is
Yeah.
that, yeah,
That was
okay.
mine. That was mine. That's how I
Okay.
gravitated into this work, because that was what was keeping me stuck, was my inner child wounds. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different strategy, a way of looking at
Yeah.
things. Yeah, that's great. How can my listeners get in touch with you?
Yeah. So my website's the best way to get in touch with me. First name, last name, AliciaFarricielli.com. On the
Mhm.
top of there's a book a link or book a call button. Click on that button. Book a call with me. We'll take about 60 minutes, however long you need. And we'll
Mhm.
talk through some things you're going through. If you just need it's almost like a free coaching call for the
Oh,
listeners.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
At the end, I'll give you some things to walk away with, to do, to kind of start the healing process of it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also, if they want to work with me long term wise, then we'll talk about what that looks like. I
Okay.
do have a workshop coming up in April that's for
Mhm.
single women that are looking for relationship kind of help, more as they're having things that they're stuck up against.
Right.
Relationship.
How long is that workshop?
It is 4 hours and it's only
Oh,
$99. And we're going to take a
oh,
30-minute lunch break, and it will be recorded. So if you can't make that date, go ahead and sign up for it. I'll
okay.
send you the recording for it. So we
Okay.
have
Okay.
tons of like cool, cool stuff going on in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Tell us the link for that discovery call, that complimentary discovery call. Repeat that again.
Yes, it's AliciaFarricielli.com. It's
Mhm. Mhm.
ALICIAFarricielli.com.
Okay. Okay, great. Now, my last question. How is your relationship with your parents now?
That's a great question. Um, my father and I don't have a relationship anymore. We don't speak anymore.
Mm.
Um, due to his disownment of my choices and stuff. And that's okay,
Mhm.
because I needed that to heal myself. I sent him love. I sent him grace. I've sent him forgiveness. And it's hurtful, but I've walked the path through, and I love him from a distance. My mom and I are
Mhm.
so close, and they're still
Mhm.
together. So it's kind of a
Mhm.
little awkward, but
Right.
my mom and I have actually grown so much closer. Um,
Okay.
over the years that were, really good.
Sounds like you and your daughter.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. My mom's did a lot. I'm so proud of her. She did a lot of personal growth too over the past few years. That makes me want to cry. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah. Well, it's not over yet, so you never know how this all will turn out. But
it'll turn out the way it needs to.
Yeah, I applaud you for the work that you've done. I think it's phenomenal. I think the work that you're doing to serve other people is phenomenal. And I like to share with my listeners, and I know that you've heard some things on this podcast that have perhaps given you an epiphany, or you know that there's something that you have a friend that you want to share it with. I ask you to please do so. And also, I ask that you subscribe to this channel so that you may hear some other enlightening, what I call tidbits, breadcrumbs, or diamonds, or whatever that you can pick up and use that in your life moving forward. So as I always say, Alicia, to my listeners, I always say bye for now. I want to thank you, Alicia, for your wisdom.
Thank you.
And God bless you all. Thank you, Alicia.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you've been enjoying our empowering conversations, make sure you don't miss out on future episodes of Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. Stay in the loop with all the latest episodes. Join our mailing list over at CassandraCrawley.com. And before you go, hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe now. Until next time, let's get ready to live your best life.